walked into the room as a sales consultant, and I'm sure that T can kind of back me up on this one, were a little more confusing. We're not those big, scary car guys. I mean, here we're 30-something-year-old women trying our best to have a great thing. I think that works into our favor when we are working with customers who maybe are stuck on a vehicle or who aren't really happy. I think it helps us de-escalate for sure.
So you find it to be an advantage when working with customers?
In that circumstance, absolutely.
What about other males?
Disadvantages?
Disadvantages? Okay, yeah.
So obviously, like we were talking about, we're more compassionate, and even though a man can say the same exact thing, just, Mother Nature, it's always a woman that is shown as more just caring overall. And some of the disadvantages was actually a personal experience of mine was I was working with a customer and they said, it was a man, and he said, oh, who do I talk to about financing numbers? I say, oh, well, I do that, I'm your salesperson. And he was like, well, is it okay if the man shows me the numbers? And I was like, I said, that's fine, but I guarantee you that his numbers are going to be worse than mine. So if you want to hear his numbers, you're going to get a worse deal. So it's kind of,
So did you overcome that, or did you end up passing that person off?
No, we overcame it. He was laughing. He was like, yeah, I don't mean to be offensive. But, that's just typical things day to day that we have to deal with. And there are advantages, but with that, there's double the disadvantages.
So,
anyone else like to touch on that?
yeah, well, real quick, I just want to interject. Let's talk about what could potentially be foreseen as an advantage, right? Because I just want to get honest and open about this, okay? And I think I even see it a lot on the vendor side too, where there is this common thought that if you are an attractive woman in automotive, is that the only reason you have the job? Or is there commentary going on in, I don't care where you work, the BDC service, the showroom, wherever, it doesn't matter. Is there commentary that's maybe taking place that is inappropriate, potentially, or that makes you feel uncomfortable? And then the other thing that I've noticed is, and I think this is even sadder, is a lot of times other women in power don't support women in power. So can we talk a little bit about that and just get real for a second?
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say this when we were speaking about advantages and disadvantages on the first question, that I do think that we have an advantage on the sales side. Where I really noticed that the first disadvantage came into place was with the staff and the management in my own stores. That was the first fight that I had to overcome. It wasn't.
Can you give us an example or get more specific?
Yeah, absolutely. Being a wife, being a mother, those are things that are already time consuming. So to know that maybe sales is not your first priority. I pride myself on saying that my favorite title is wife and mom, not salesman. That makes somebody automatically think you're not as serious, or that it's not a career to you, that it's just something that's for fun. And that's not the case. I did find that I had to work longer, and I had to work harder, and I had to work smarter to prove myself. And it took more time than it would have taken for some of my male counterparts.
And I'll just touch on that, to your point that just because you're a wife and a mom, maybe you're not taking it serious, and I know Karen can speak to this as well, but you look over at my booth right there, what do you see? So I brought my two kids here specifically because we were having this conversation today, because I know that that's an unfortunate stigma, and I wanted it to be addressed that I'm working my butt off today and the next 2 days, but we can still do both, right? So.
Absolutely.
Danielle, I know you're a mom as well. Did you have anything?
I mean, the same thing she said. I mean, it's long hours and everything, but I want to show my daughter that, this is something that you have to do as far as building up your own career. And I can still do both, being a wife, being a mother, fiance. But it does take hard work. And again, something that she said, that we do have to work harder. We do have to make sure that a lot of people see us the way that we need to be. we are hard workers, and not a lot of people are gonna take that for granted, so it just depends on a lot of different
So
perspectives.
it's almost like you have to work harder just to be at the same level or they receive the same respect.
Absolutely.
So I think this could lead us into another question. How about marketing? And Tiana, maybe you can take this one with the way you're branding yourself and everything, and then of course we'll open it up. But we're talking about advantages and disadvantages. Do you find that you have an advantage as a woman when it comes to marketing to other women who may potentially feel uncomfortable or intimidated by the dominantly male?
No, that's a great question, because if you look at Tiana's Facebook and Instagram, you'll see that most of her clientele, they're females.
They are. Yes, so women do, and me specifically, just have an advantage just because we can kind of get real with them, like kind of like we are now. We can say, like, isn't it, annoying when men do blah, 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 and this isn't men bashing, but a little bit. So you can really, like, if you're a mom or a wife, like, you can really connect with them on a deeper level, and we're trying to fight that old stereotype of just sleazy car salesmen. And there are sleazy car saleswomen too, but that's just the perception that everybody has. So it's like when someone walks in and they see a man, they just think they're trying to, take their money. When they step in, they see a woman, we're doing the same thing, maybe. Kidding. But it's more compassionate, and I feel like they would be better understood by and their own gender. A man would rather speak to a man, and a woman would rather speak to a woman.
And I think too that there's something to be said about how men and women really utilize the cars that they drive differently. So I'm also a mom. One of the major reasons I bought my Honda Pilot years ago was because the third row moved, or the second row moved, while you could still have your car seats in there. So it was just that one-handed slide. That was the year that they came out with that, and I absolutely loved it. So now, when I'm on the phone with a customer who, is saying I need something with third row, but I need that usable third row, I can say, hey, this is what drove me to the Honda Pilot. This is what I have found having car seats up in my car, and the functions that I use day to day as a wife and mom in my vehicle. That's a different perspective maybe than for example my salesman took when he actually sold me the car, and he wanted to show me all the Bluetooth feature and the tech package. I have not used that tech package in the past 7 years, but I have used that one-handed slide feature every darn day. So I mean, there really is a big difference on how we can market the vehicles that we are trying to sell as well.
Awesome. So LA actually has a question.
So I like that you guys are talking about different genders and things. However, talk about when you're working with couples, number one, as a salesperson, and then additionally, if you're just, if you're in BDC, how do you operate that when you're dealing with couples? Maybe, the wife has 85% buying power, maybe the man has a little bit. So, talk a little bit about that.
That's a great question.
So I think the sale process has to be consistent no matter who you're selling to, right? And if I'm going to sell to a couple, I'm still going to identify who's my buyer right here, who is my decision maker. And if that decision maker should be the man or the woman, I'm going to, of course, make sure that I address both of them, but how I tailor my delivery and my presentation is going to be to the one who I know is the decision maker.
Also, to add to that, sometimes, even like we were talking about before, women can kind of put other women down. So when there is a couple walking in, sometimes if there is an attractive young sales lady, or there's an attractive receptionist, or someone that's interacting with the couple, sometimes the woman will actually be like the worst customer to deal with, just because they're like, I know what you're doing, even though it's like, I'm just doing my job. So, but even like women can be harder on other women when it should be the complete opposite.
So Cameron has a question over here too.
So I just wanted to ask, someone that is a woman that's